So this is a video about my testimony of hell and God's judgment. Um, I'm not gonna edit it or do anything extra to it because I just feel like it needs to be a free flow kind of thing. Also, I might look down a lot because the sun is straight in my face, so I can't really see too well. But nonetheless, that's beside the point. So this started when this is a vision that I had. It started when I was into the occult and new age belief systems. I'm no longer into that type of thing, and maybe that'll be something that I talk about in another video if if anybody wants to see it. But yeah, so I guess that's a little bit of backstory on how this began. This happened the week of the 1 year anniversary of my mom's death. And it happened, this led up to me getting saved. So, yeah, that's all the backstory, I'm pretty sure. So I'm gonna just start talking about everything that I experienced. So this vision started with me driving around Colorado, and at the time I was with my ex-fiance, and I was hearing water, and I used to have a fear of water coming over the mountains. It was always a fear of mine, and I didn't know about the rainbow or God's covenant or anything like that at this point in time. So it was very scary for me, but I was hearing it everywhere that I went. I started hearing God in songs. Dang. That's not even like the order. I'm trying to, because it's hard for it to all come back in the way that it happened for me. But I'll start with the tarot, what I started hearing from tarot, actually, because that's where it really started. I started hearing, there was a specific lady that I used to watch for tarot readings on YouTube, and her channel is still up to this day, by the way. I used to watch her, and there was a lot of, how do you describe it, like, I felt like I resonated with her, so it was very comfortable and easy for me to watch her. But it started getting very dark. I started noticing she was talking about kind of like the situation that I was in with my ex-fiance, but she was talking about his situation because he has children by another mother. She was talking about how the baby was going to be hurt. So I started to have like an internal panic when I heard that, because I loved this kid as if he was my own. I still love him, just don't see him anymore. But yeah, she started talking about how the child was going to die. So I started getting scared and afraid, and I started letting him know, like, hey, this is what I'm hearing. And he thought I was going crazy. He thought I was going crazy, which I probably would have thought the same in his shoes. So I end up kind of like ignoring that, but I still watched her videos, and she started talking about a bunch of different circumstances that had to do with like robots and just weird stuff that had to do with like the universe and all this metaphysical stuff that really is kind of gibberish. And it started making me afraid because it was feeling like it was heavy on me. Anyway, I started having a vision in the living room of my apartment, and my ex-fiance and his friend were playing Naruto on the living room TV on PlayStation 4. I don't know what game, I just know it was Naruto. And I start hearing his friend speak, but the way that his friend was speaking, it sounded like he was saying stuff that I would say. So phrases that I would say, it was almost like I could see myself in him, like he was behaving like me. Even the way that he interacted with my dog, it was like God was showing me that God was showing me through him how I was being, like how I acted, how I behaved. And I remember thinking, like, that's not me. That's not me. Like, I don't act like that. I don't, like, I'm a loving person. I'm not like that. But he kept showing me, yes, like, this is who you are. This is how you're acting. And it was just the things that his friend was saying. They sounded really evil. They sounded really hurtful. They were really harsh. He was cursing a lot. He was just a wreck. So I ended up getting like really nervous because I was like, why am I seeing this? And then I'm trying to like alert my ex-fiance, like, oh my God, this is what's happening. But he, of course, wasn't paying attention, didn't understand, was into the game. But it was pretty much like God was showing me my own personal judgment day. So I was sitting on the couch, and it was like I felt this feeling of impending doom. And it was like he was telling me, this is where you're gonna go. So I'm hearing through his friend, it turns from him showing me through the friend, and it turns into him, his friend's voice being like the voice of the enemy. And he's taunting me. He's like making comments, and I'm like getting uneasy because I'm like, oh, God is real. So I start panicking. I get into a panic. I run into my bedroom, and I'm trying to avoid, because when I was on the couch, I just kept thinking, like, I can't say it out loud because if I say it, then it's going to be true. But I felt like it's my judgment day. It's my judgment day. Sorry. So I go in the room, and I'm trying to like avoid hearing the voice. But it was almost like his friend started getting up and walking towards the room and talking loudly. And I'm hearing the voice of the enemy through his friend still. So I'm like, like, you need to get away from me, cause. And then my fiance at the time, ex-fiance now, him and his friend were just laughing because they're like, you're freaking out for nothing. I start running in and out of the house. So I'm like, there's like a balcony, like a patio or whatever. I go out the sliding glass doors and I'm jumping, and I'm like barefoot. I'm jumping over the balcony into the grass and like running around outside because I thought I could find a way to avoid what God was telling me. I don't know why I thought that, but it just confirmed to me that everything my mom had used to talk about was true. And I was hearing the water over the mountains even more loudly outside. And I start freaking out because I'm just like, this is a lot to take in. But I still wasn't sure if it was God or not. So I run back into the apartment and I pick up my mom. My mom had a black Bible, King James version, that she gave my brother, that she's had for a really long time. She after she passed, I still had the Bible. So I grabbed the Bible. Sorry, I'm kind of like shaking because I'm a little cold. It's cold outside. And also, like, when I tell this, I get a feeling like right here, and it like feels like it's like I'm being pulled on or something, like internally pulled on. So I don't know how to describe that. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, the Bible. So I grab my brother's Bible and I run into the bedroom. And no, this happens after the fact. I grab the Bible and I sit on the couch because I was scared to be alone. I didn't want to go in the room by myself, and I didn't want to hear the voice of the enemy. I didn't want to hear the voice of the enemy in the room by myself. So I go in the living room and I sit on the couch. And at this time, like, I start reading the Bible. And as I'm reading the Bible, I can visualize, like, it's a vision. So I'm seeing, as I open the book and I start reading and I'm like really taking in what the word is saying, I see a light above my head, like beaming down. And I see a light beaming down. And as I read it and I'm paying attention, I'm seeing a vision of, like, it says the firmament and it says the stars, and then I see the stars, and then it talks about the waters and the Spirit going over the face of the deep, and I see the Spirit going over the face of the deep. And so it was like, wow, like this, I was like, wow. And then whenever I would lose focus of the book, of the Bible, everything would start to dim and go gray. And I remember the reason I was losing focus was because my ex-fiance's son, he was about maybe 11 months at the time. He's pulling on the Bible, trying to get my attention. But as I'm like losing focus, the room is getting dim looking. It was a cloudy day outside. It was dark, gloomy. So I was like, I can't be in here with him because he's distracting me. So I go in the room, in the bedroom, and I sit down and I start reading it again. And then I hear, I start almost pleading with God, where I'm like, if you love me, why would you let me go to hell? And then I'm like, I was telling him, like, I was looking for you. That's what I was looking for in tarot. I was looking for the truth. And yeah, so I started kind of like trying to come to, I don't know, try to get myself out of the situation I had got myself in by how I was living. So yeah, I'm in the room and I'm trying to read the Bible, but I can't focus on it. And I keep hearing his friend, the voice of the enemy, in the living room, walking towards the door as I'm reading, trying to, like, taunting me, trying to distract me from the word. And I was getting, like, freaked out. So I end up closing the door, but I can still hear him. Sorry, there's like cars driving by, and I'm like, my attention span be like, anyway. So, where was I? Oh, I was in the room, and I can hear the enemy in the living room keep walking back and forth towards the room, and I'm trying to focus on the Bible. And the same thing's happening that was happening in the living room, but the same thing was happening that was happening in the living room, but it's happening now in the bedroom, where I'm seeing, I keep reading the same part in Genesis over and over again because I can't focus. And every time I read it and I'm really in it and my heart is in it, I can see the vision of, like, I can see palm trees and I can see the water and I can see like peace, like a tranquil scene and all this stuff. But then when I lose focus, the book goes gray again. And it had me so shook. Like, I was shook. So what'd I do? Oh, I ended up feeling like it was too hard. Like, it's too hard to, and then I felt like he was gonna wait until I got through the whole book. And to be honest, I didn't want to read the whole Bible. Like, I'm like, am I gonna go to hell if I don't finish the book right now? So that's what I was thinking at the time. So I'm like, trying to wait until this vision ends, but it's not ending. And I start giving up. So I start saying, like, well, if you don't love me enough and you're gonna let me die and you're gonna let me go to hell, then that's what I'm accepting, pretty much. But in my heart, I knew, like, I was just saying that. But I start seeing, you know how when you see, when it's hot outside, or when it's hot on like a grill, and you can see the little heat, you can see the wave of heat, the lines of heat, and it's like I don't know how to describe it, but I'm pretty sure you kind of get what I mean. That's what I was seeing in the room, but they were all around the room, and it looked like fire. So as I was giving up, I started seeing the fire, and I'm like, oh no, like, that's not what's about to happen. So I told God, like, I made up in my mind at that moment, I can't just give up. That's too easy, for one, and like, I'm not trying to go to hell. So this led into a week-long vision. And maybe I'll tell that in another video, because that leads into how I got saved. So yeah, thank you for watching. I don't really know what to say. Just I'm gonna tell this in a series, because I feel like God is calling me to share my testimony. There's some things that I feel like can't be shared yet, but I know that this is something that can. So I'm going to share the things that can be shared until I feel like he allows me to share the things that I can't share right now. So thank you for watching. There is hope and there is light because I'm still here, as you can see. So nothing bad happened because of the vision. It was just God leading me into calling and purpose, things that he wanted me to do. You know, he ordained these things to be done. And so I feel like, you know, that's kind of the point, was he needed to know, I guess, what I was going to choose then and there, and I chose him. So I encourage anybody else who has any stories like this and you feel like you're being led to share your testimony of hell or any other situation that you've been through. I mean, God led, like he tells you that you should. I encourage you to do it. So yeah, have a blessed day, and bye-bye.